What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Box to Box. A little bit of a different episode this week. We have the other two with some other obligations, so it is just me. But we're going to keep the content train rolling. So I'm going to be doing some tier ranking this week on tiermaker.com. We got a couple players lined up from the January transfer window. So I'm just going to go through and put these guys in some sort of order, and we will see how we do. I feel like we're at a point now, three months past the transfer window, where it's a little bit, or I guess it's getting to a suitable time to better rank these players and see how they're performing in their respective leagues at this point. So we are going to start off with Adama Traore. Obviously moving from Wolves to FC Barcelona. FC Barcelona having a great run of form recently. Since the guys aren't here, we won't get a chance to talk about last week's match of the week, but what a performance from FC Barcelona over Real Madrid, winning 4-0. So obviously Real Madrid without Benzema, but with Chelsea soon to play Real Madrid in the Champions League, I did like to see that. Adama Traore, honestly, when I first heard about this transfer, I thought it was a little bit out of left field. But I think I'm going to give him an A ranking. Almost the top tier here. And it's because he has proven to be a different player at FC Barcelona. At Wolves, we got spells of what he could do with his strength, with his pace, and really his just electricity on the field. And at Barcelona, he's done that every week, and he's done it a little bit higher up the field with, most importantly, actual returns. At Wolves, he had such trouble getting on the score sheet or getting any assists, and so he's finally doing that to some degree as well. So I think he deserves to be pretty high up this list. Next up, I will go Kieran Trippier. And I am also going to rank this one at an S. Honestly, this transfer window, these players have been doing pretty well. So I think a lot of these players are going to be closer to the top of the list, but that's okay with me. Kieran Trippier, again, I was a little bit surprised at the transfer. Newcastle were bringing in talented players, but not too many full-out stars or anything like that. But Trippier is someone who has experience in the Premier League, is a little bit older, more mature, can help guide a younger generation at Newcastle. So honestly, it was a great transfer, and he has been playing very, very well for Newcastle, who have been doing well recently, moving further from that relegation zone. Trippier also with a couple nice free kick goals, which is always fun to see. So I think he has brought kind of a new energy to that Newcastle team, which we knew was going to come at some point, but I think he's really kind of helped lead that line with his experience. Next up, I will go Dusan Vlovic. And he's kind of a tough one because I feel like it's a good transfer, but I think I'm going to put it at a C. And honestly, I'm going to put it there with one very important point in mind, and that is the fact that Juventus were knocked out of the Champions League by Villarreal. Obviously, Vlahovic scored in that first leg, in like in the first leg, in the first minute or something like that. But it wasn't enough. I think that was the only goal they scored in that first leg, and then they lost something like 3-0 in the second leg. And obviously, that's not his only input. He has been playing pretty well in Serie A. But that being said, so far, what we have seen, he has not helped them get past that group stage or that round of 16. So I'm going to give him a C. I think, this is just a ranking of kind of what they've been doing thus far, how their performance has been thus far. So obviously room for growth. He's on a big contract there for a couple of years, so I think we will see some uptick, but as of now, I'm putting him at a C. Next up, I'm going Donny Van Der Beek. And he is someone who is very hard to rank because I also really want him to do well, but I think it's going to have to be a C as well. Um, and that's a tough one because I want Donny Van Der Beek to succeed. I want Frank Lampard to succeed at Everton. However, Everton have not really been succeeding. They got that win over Newcastle. They got that win over Wolves. But they're still kind of towing the line at that relegation level. Van de Beek has not been, he hasn't led the team. He's gotten a lot more minutes than he did at Manchester United, but it still isn't kind of what he's capable of, what he had at Ajax. And because it's still not that at that level, I think it's still a disappointing transfer because we know he can do so much more. So similar to Vlovic, I think there is room for growth. But as of now, I think Van de Beek and honestly Everton in general kind of are riding at that C level. Very close to sinking. Next up, I'll go Dennis Zakaria. I'm going to throw him at a B. I think he is good, but he is also just the first step, I believe, of Juventus's midfield makeover. Players like Rabiot, Archer, and Weston McKennie likely will be shown the exit this summer at Newcastle. And I think Zakaria is kind of the first wave of those new midfield signings for Juventus. I know they've been linked to Jorginho, as well as a number of other midfielders. I think he's the first wave. I think he's a good starting point. He has good distribution. He doesn't kind of have he's not a pinpoint in the midfield, but what he's shown so far, I think he's gotten 2 goals already, which for him is more than he gets most seasons. So good to see him doing well. We know what he can bring. So I think he'll improve when he is joined up with a little bit more talented of a midfield core at Juventus. Next up, I will go with Luis Diaz, and I'm going to give him I'm also going to give him a B. It might be a little bit low because he has been pretty thrilling to watch. I think the more he plays with Liverpool, the more comfortable he is in the team, the further he'll go up on this list, or theoretically. So I think he's at a B for now, just because his goal return hasn't been crazy. He had a pretty good showing in the Carabao Cup final, as well as in the Champions League. I'm not sure if he got any goals out of those games that he played, though, and so I think because of that, he's just at a B for now. I have been very impressed with his play. I think he will fill in very well in that Liverpool attack next to Diego Jota and Sadio Mane. And with these rumors that have been lingering, he could even be Mohamed Salah's replacement, which obviously, those are big shoes to fill. But, he's building this chemistry among Liverpool's ranks and seems to be pretty formidable so far. So I'm throwing him at a B, but what a talented player. Next up, I'm going Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and he's going S tier. When I first heard about this signing, I thought it was a terrible idea. I was like, what are Barcelona doing signing another attacker? They already have Memphis Depay. They already have Farron Torres, who we'll get to in a second. What are they doing signing washed up Aubameyang on a free transfer from Arsenal? He's just been in so much hot water with Arteta. What's going on? And boy, has he proved me wrong. Aubameyang has been spectacular. Almost getting a hat trick in El Clasico over the weekend. He's never had a problem scoring goals. He's just had a problem getting along with his manager. So, hopefully he keeps up a relationship with Xavi because he's really doing something at Barcelona and kind of leading this new wave that they've had the second half of the season. So I think he's all the way up at S tier and has completely proven me wrong. Next up, I'm going to go Bruno Gumaresh. I'm not sure how I'm pronouncing on that one, but I am going to put him at a B. He's been okay. He hasn't been great. Still kind of working into that Newcastle side. Tough competition there with John Joe Shelby, obviously. But he's still kind of working his way into the team. Has been good, hasn't been great. I think pretty solid B tier, but room to grow. He's obviously kind of Newcastle's marquee signing for this new era. So he's starting them off, and I think we have a lot to come from him. We have Ndombele coming up next, and he's going D tier. I feel kind of bad for Ndombele. He's had a tough go of it at Tottenham, and with Tottenham, some of Tottenham's new arrivals, I think he obviously was shown the exit, but he's a talented player. But his move to Lyon is a step back for him. Lyon are not a great side this year. He's been playing well. He hasn't been setting any headlines or anything like that. So I think he's going at a D. And maybe it's not how his transfer is doing. Maybe it's his career as of late, which is unfortunate. It is a loan. So, he would have to build quite some form to find his way back into the Tottenham side. And I don't think it's going to come from Lyon. And I don't think he's going to get to the place where he needs to be able to kind of lead that, center attacking mid position. It doesn't seem like Antonio Conte is his biggest fan. So I think tough transfer for Tanguy Ndombele. All right, next up is Farron Torres. He's going at a solid B. I think he's been good, as in the fact that we know what he can do. He's had kind of those flashes at Barcelona. He did score over the weekend, but his goal was not really the notable outcome of his performance. It was more his misses, honestly. He missed a couple sitters pretty blatantly, and that's kind of been the unfortunate, underlying story of his time so far at Barcelona. And with Dembele's rise in form recently, and him seemingly being on good terms with Xavi, this I don't think is good news for Farron Torres, obviously. I mean, we know what he's capable of. We know that he is at Barcelona to stay, and Dembele will likely leave. But I do think that he kind of has to start finishing those chances. He needs to be more clinical if he does want to kind of ride out this wave and stay up there in Barcelona's starting lineup. Ansu Fati is obviously hurt, but will be looking to fight for that position. And Ferran Torres is really going to need to start finishing all those opportunities if he does want to keep his spot in the consistent starting 11 at FC Barcelona. And then lastly, we have Rodrigo Bentancur, and I'm throwing him at A tier. He has really surprised me. He is someone that at Juventus just really never seemed to fit or work out. He was good, wasn't great. But at Tottenham, he's really kind of shown a new side, or kind of his best side, and has really kind of picked up his levels, has been a regular starter in that midfield next to Højbjerg. And I've been so impressed with his work rate. He's really in the mix defensively constantly, as well as getting the ball up the pitch quick and trying to get this Tottenham team moving. Obviously, they've had their ups and downs this season, but overall, I do think he's a very good pickup for Tottenham. They're obviously not the biggest, most frequent buyers in the transfer market, but Bentancur, paired up with Kulusevski, who's not on this list, but who has also been playing pretty well. And their connection, honestly, has proven pretty lethal as they both work alongside each other. So I think Bentancur is well up on this list. So that does it for this little ranking here. Thank you all for watching, and we'll be back to our regular schedule next week.